Welcome to the Weekly Blend, your source for everything TV, movie, and video game related. I'm Lasse Lund.
I'm Corey Burris.
And I'm Greg Santee.
All right, now the third and final movie in our discussion tonight is one of summer's hugest blockbusters, already very successful in the theaters, and no one expected anything less from Iron Man 2. So, Greg, you get to have first crack at reviewing this movie.
He's never
Haven't seen it.
What?
Done.
Oh!
We had this whole conversation before we started recording.
I thought we all talked about...
I remember this conversation, Greg.
I don't remember. Never mind.
No, I haven't seen
you
it.
defer to Corey.
Lasse, you start. You tell us what you think of Iron Man 2.
Okay, well, what a fun movie. Very fun movie to watch. Very hugely entertaining. I loved the one thing I really took away from this movie. I loved Whiplash. I loved the villain. I thought that Mickey Rourke, is that his name?
Mickey Rourke?
Yeah.
I thought he did a great job. He didn't get enough screen time, unfortunately. Like, he wasn't in the movie as much as they like. His character was so good, they could have used him more.
I thought it was a super weak villain. So
What?
from the previews,
Totally felt
they
the
made
same
him
way.
look like a super.
Dude, the two times, dude, he's like huge and muscle bound.
Oh yeah, no, not like weak as in like not strong.
And he's
but
also
weak as in,
brilliant.
like,
I don't understand
Like,
that
what a
argument because
stupid villain.
I felt like he was in the movie a lot.
Really? He's in it like 2 or 3 times. Like the two times he faces down with
in
Iron
his
Man.
suit.
Yeah, it's wrap the thing around Iron Man's neck. Iron Man pulls him close and tears his guts out. You know, I would have liked to see more. He
let's
was
be honest.
threatening. He was obviously smart and able to be and very strong. It would have been nice to see a little more back and forth.
But let's even talk about Iron Man in general.
Sure.
There's not all, and this, from Corey, from what you said, there isn't as many action sequences as you expect
That's
there
true.
would be.
Yeah, I
They
actually
always
felt that
leave
way.
you wanting more.
I was hoping for more action sequences. However, I don't know. I don't want to say I liked it better
End
than the
action
first
sequence
Iron
was
Man.
nice and long and very very satisfying. But
It is about like what I like about Iron Man is I actually think it's a little more character driven than like other superhero movies. Like I loved Iron Man 2. I actually think that I don't know if I would say it was better than the first one, but it lived up to the standards set by the first one. And I was with you. I was going, I want to go into Iron Man 2 and I just want to see an action movie. That's all I want to see.
Because the
But
suit is so cool.
people were
It is.
expecting the Dark Knight.
Well, think about
And
that.
the people that were expecting the Dark Knight version of Iron Man, you know, where it's kind of it has this really more deep,
Yeah,
these
they
deep
explained who
threads.
he is in number 1. Now show us what he can do in number 2.
Yeah.
He is
but
just
even
funny in the second.
but
I mean,
even
the second
second
was so
one-
much more fun.
even still, every time you saw him fighting, there was one scene in number 1 where he was Iron Man at full strength. Every other time
Yeah.
he was struggling to be his full
Yep.
self.
That's not true in this one.
Well, that's good.
Every time he fights, he's in full strength.
Good.
So that
Yeah.
was awesome. The fights are, in my opinion, a lot better than in the first one.
Yep.
And like, it's just like I don't know. Like I really liked Iron
Well,
Man.
and in
2.
this one they gave
Like,
him more villains to fight. In the first one, there wasn't too many enemies. You know.
Yeah. You learn more about who Tony Stark is more than you learn about Iron Man himself.
I think I'm going to love that about the movie.
and
too.
you learn more about the kind of mythos of what's going on in the background with the Avengers and all of the other background stuff that's going on. You learn about all these new characters. There's a really cool new character that they introduce, or there's a couple of really cool into the whole mythos of the whole world, not just Iron Man. And so, like, for me, I absolutely loved it. In some ways, I liked it better than the first movie, and in some ways, I'm with you. I kind of was hoping a little more action, but I didn't care about that.
I like the struggle that Iron Man has with the thing that's keeping him alive is also killing him.
Yeah.
Where his
That's not a spoiler, by the way. They say
his,
it was like
yeah,
first minute.
it's his chest piece. Like there's some like it's leaking radiation or something into his bloodstream, and so it's still keeping the shrapnel from his heart, but it's also at the same time killing him. And so he has to throughout the movie he's trying to develop this way to fix it. And I like how they resolve that plot.
Yeah. And that's really the overall plot thing that they are trying to resolve is just that point. And so it's kind of, for some people it might be discouraging. I don't know. You had a lot of criticisms of it though when we watched it.
I didn't think it was as I don't think it's nearly as complete of a movie as the first one. I don't think it's nearly as efficient. It feels like they go off on a lot of different stuff, and there's a lot of characters that are in it that are very like, you know, I mean, for what's her name, Scarlett Johansson's character is very shallow. Like it's not,
character.
it's cool. Like I like her character. They just didn't do anything with it, and and like I said, they didn't spend enough time on the one villain. I like Sam Rockwell's character.
See, I disagree. Like Whiplash as Whiplash wasn't in it a lot, but his character was in it a ton of talking about like what he was doing because it was more like his genius or his.
He's going toe to toe with Tony Stark. You know, I just think I didn't like the racing scene, obviously. The racetrack scene, I wasn't all about that. I know a lot of people liked it. I thought it was just kind of odd and off. I like the fight scene at the end of it, and I love, of course, the suitcase.
Well, that goes back to the original cartoon and comic, I'm assuming. Yeah. Where I love that he had it in a suitcase. A suitcase come out and he'd stag and then come out and give him the suit.
It's a suit. It's weird because literally you're going through and like listen. I'm like, I just don't agree with that. Like I loved the racing scene. I just loved every little bit and piece.
It just wasn't, like I said, as efficient as the first movie. Like it just seemed a little more cobbled together. I don't know.
Well, there was more going on. There's more of this macro view of it, whereas the micro view of building, the first one is about how does he become Iron Man. Right. This one's about how does Iron Man fit in the world of So it's a great movie. I loved it.
Me too.
I will love it.
All right, you can always stay up with all the current news on any of these topics, movies, TV, and video games by going to our blog, theweeklyblend.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at /LassaLund.
/Corey Burris.
/Greg Santi.
And remember, you can, if you subscribe to our podcast, you also get our audio podcast each week, which we talk about all the news that's coming out for that week. Yeah. So it's an interesting discussion about things going on. We also give like our little thoughts on little news blurbs that are coming out. So make sure to check that out too.
So until next time, we're out.
Have you gotten your Game of Thrones?
No.
Yet? Are you kidding me? Are you sure you're not didn't miss your renewal?
No, I went and renewed it.
You sure?
You said nude.
I renewed it.